I'm just somewhere to sit down. I'm in a big park across from the venue.
Nice.
Hey, what town are you in?
I'm in St. John, New Brunswick.
Okay, cool. So, right. That's tomorrow night. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Fredericton's a beautiful city.
Yeah, it's bizarre. There's a Comic-Con or something like that going on in Fredericton.
Oh,
so
really?
We pulled them what the fuck are those people in costume? And there was one, I went, oh, okay. This is the Insanoid convention, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
No, it's all fun. I know people are, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Joe, I really appreciate you taking the time to line this up with me.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you taking time to do some publicity for the show. That's good.
Yeah, no problem. And, you're playing at Haven Music Hall in St. John, and that's kind of it's a new venue in St. John, so everyone's been quite excited about that venue. So I know, I appreciate it, and definitely the scene appreciates you guys swinging by there this tour.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So maybe you just played your first show, or D.O.A. I should say, played your first show in PEI on this tour, didn't you?
Yeah, on Thursday night. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, a lot of people showed up. And,
yeah, well.
Yeah, I don't know what took us so long to get there, and that's kind of what the people out there said that to me too, right? Mm-hmm. I played 4,500 shows with this band, and it took that long to get the PEI, but it was great.
Yeah, the joke is that you always have to pay to leave, so that's why people don't go over there sometimes.
Well, that's we got back and we went over the bridge and go, wow, amazing bridge, and realized, okay, boy, the Islanders is quite a scam they're pulling, right? You get on for free, you pay to get off, right? So
yeah,
it's a pretty good idea. Right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the joke. So so you mentioned 4,500 shows. That's, by my quick math, that's at least 100 shows a year average if across the span of the band, roughly. Yeah,
I mean, there'll be a few years where we broke up for about a year and a half, like in the 90s, and then reformed, and then during COVID for about 3 years, we probably only did about maybe total 15 shows over those 3 years. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, some years we've done close to 200 shows. We figured that 50 different countries we played in on 5 different continents, and I think there's only one band that's in the rock, metal, punk genre that's played more shows than us, and I think that's Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, okay.
So we're by about 150 shows behind them.
Okay, so. I think they're my wife's favorite band, actually. So maybe you'll bump them out of first place.
Okay.
So I was actually wondering, you've been around for so long in the scene. I was kind of curious how your family has played a role in the longevity of the band.
Well, I've been married for 38 years, right? I got 3 kids grown up. I got 3 grandkids.
Nice.
Three young fellows. 2 of them are playing hockey already, right? So
cool.
It's a great thing. Family's a big part of it. That's the most important part of my life, and music's number 2. But I mean, obviously, it's a close number 2. Obviously, I've spent my entire life doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I love playing music. Yeah.
But that support system's been there the whole time, right? So that. Kind of a special situation, maybe, and some people don't have that behind them.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but you got to work at it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a great wife, and it's kind of worked out really well, right? So
that's awesome.
And I'm not in any mood to retire, so we're out here playing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, you're no stranger to the East Coast, so and a lot of bands consider the East Coast kind of stopping at Quebec City. So, it's great seeing you come out here.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense. I mean, it's really fun out here. I think it's great. It's pretty picturesque, too, when you're driving around, right? So,
yeah. I've always felt like it's a mini British Columbia. I don't know if you would agree with that living out there, but instead of mountains, it's got a lot of rolling hills, but...
Yeah, well, we got more mountains, you have more hills, put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, BC's nothing, 7 different mountain ranges, right? So, it doesn't stop. Right, so
maybe you could talk about. So I kind of like relaying info because there's a bunch of new bands popping up in St. John and stuff. So I kind of like to relay information or wisdom to those folks, to those listeners. I was kind of wondering if you could touch on the importance of setting goals as a band or a person, considering I imagine that's a big part of your longevity, really.
Well, I mean, I've always been an idealist. You have to work at what you believe in and try and make that happen. Thus the D.O.A. mantra is talk less action equals 0. So you got to get out there and get that done and fight for what you believe in. So, I mean, when I started out in music, I didn't think, okay, we're going to be some giant rock band like big as Led Zeppelin, which is like the biggest band when I was a kid, right, in high school, right? So, you just kind of just got to work at and succeed and just keep working. I'm a hard worker. I think that's what the bottom line for me is. That I've never given up. I'm an elected politician. I'm a city councillor out in my hometown. Mm-hmm. And I ran, it took me 6 times running before I finally got elected. Mm-hmm. But I said to people, like, look, when I was running for election, you always vote for Shithead, so why not vote for Joe Shithead? So,
that's the perfect politician slogan.
And I talked to Joe, my buddy Joe LeBiafra about running. He says, Joe, you should stand on your record because you have lots of good records.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
got a few of these clips. So I'll stop there.
No, that's great. It's really interesting. Cause a lot of people would be, I've heard it come up before where it's like, oh, a punk rocker goes into politics. But I mean, your lyrics, of course, cover all those topics and you've always been kind of like in that activist direction. Yeah. And we probably need that more than ever, times like we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, what we really fighting for tries to improve things at home is like, we're in a housing crisis. Mm-hmm. We're in an environmental crisis. It's a global warming and the climate change, I should say. And that's something like I've always been like an environmental since I was a teenager, right? And so now I have an opportunity as an elected official to try and make that happen in my hometown and hopefully have a good effect on the region, like in British Columbia and, perhaps on Canada as well.
For sure. I mean, like being out on the East Coast, like we always hear about the British Columbia kind of environmental movement's not the right word, but it seems like it's taken more seriously out on the other end of the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's a bit more entrenched there. I mean, it's a big population, like Metro Van is like 3 million people, and we've been fighting for common sense in that area for like a long time. And, I think people are finally getting it. Like, when we first started talking about climate change, like older people are going like, what are you talking about? Right. And it's like, and now you get people, retired people going like, once we had the heat dome and we've had these like, torrential rainstorms, wiped out highways and stuff like that. And then people are going like, oh, it is climate change, right? Mm-hmm. Now you get like across all generations are understanding it. Whereas like 15 years ago, it wasn't quite like that. Mm-hmm. But now in the events of the last, 5-8 years, it's definitely that way.
Do you think like just us as humans, like we need some sort of catastrophe before a big reaction is experienced? Or
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think you're completely right about that. That people just like, it will never happen. It's just a bunch of baloney, right? Mm-hmm. And then something bad has to happen before people like react and go like, oh, maybe we should have taken this seriously. Mm-hmm. So that's now, not everybody's taking it seriously. Not the oil companies, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Right? So, but a lot of people are. And some people that are like in the elected people that are in a position to influence that.
Yeah, it's got to start somewhere. So it'll be, it's nice that it's moving. And you'll find out in St. John when you're there, like the largest oil refinery in Canada is actually right in the kind of the heart of the city, believe it or not.
Oh, right. Is that the Irving refinery?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I took a guess at that. I know the Irving family owns an awful lot of stuff out here, right? So
yeah, they own a lot of industry. That's for sure.
They're one of the biggest. Go ahead.
So maybe I was thinking like, so as a politician, you want to solve problems, but you also want to try to build. I would imagine you want to also instill hope and like. So I know like you put together your Harmony for All program, which is a really positive program. So I'm just kind of curious how do you find that balance? You could use that as an example too if you want to describe that program, but how to find the balance between the negative and also building up hope. Yeah, the Harmony for All program is a music program that I started in Burnaby, and we've got like it's like about 1,800 people who are enrolled in it now. Nice. So what we do is I did a bunch of instrument drives with the help of the Burnaby Fire Department, and we collected like about 1,000 donated instruments.
then the next thing was to get council to pay the money. The big thing, insurance was easy, but paying for like guitar lessons or whatever, that's where it really adds up.
Okay.
So I finally got council to kick in money each year. The mayor was on my side, but it took some arm wrestling, behind the scenes to get it to happen.
Okay.
Anyways, it's going really good, and there's a lot of people involved. And I think the big thing is that, we're in a rough time where there's a lot of hatred between races. There's a lot of hatred between religions and faith and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing everybody understands is music is the one international language that everybody loves music. Mm-hmm. Maybe not all the same kind of music, but, there's one thing that kind of speaks to everybody, right? So in my hometown, there's like, there's 130 different languages spoken, right? So it's like the most culturally diverse city in Canada. Mm-hmm. And so I figured this, when I was in high school, I wasn't necessarily very popular, but when people found out, oh, you play music, oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like it's a door opener, is what it is, right? So mm-hmm. I kind of figured that for kids that are growing up here or new Canadians that, that music is going to help them, and make friends, right? So and I believe that's what it's doing.
Yeah, so you must see that it's literally changing younger folks' lives, probably.
It's really good, and we get some really interesting stuff. My mayor Hurley, is also a musician. He emigrated here from Northern Ireland, and as a musician, and so sometimes we do jams with high school bands. We get together and play songs, and for public events or charity, that kind of thing. It's really fun.
Very cool. Yeah, that's really cool that the community's the mayor's got your back, basically. Like the community's into a program like that.
Yeah, well, he's coming from being a musician and growing up in a tough place like Northern Ireland. My drummer, Patty Dowdy's from there too, right? They grew up about 10 miles apart from each other, right? So it's like, and they went to a fish show for, pardon my language, for decades over there with the British Army, right? So, mm-hmm. They understand, people need freedom. People need to have the right to say what they want to say mm-hmm. and live the way they want to live.
Agreed. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that program's going well. Maybe it could be assimilated or replicated in other communities.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. I mean, I haven't had time to do that, but I've talked to people from across Canada have called me about a type thing, and they were quite curious. And so I just said, get some help, get organized, and it's a great program that it could happen anywhere, right? So
yeah, because you've got the model for it, kind of,
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. Maybe we can just shift over to. How much time do you have, Joe? I didn't ask you at the beginning, so.
Well, I can go for about another 10 minutes if you want.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's switch over to some music. I know on your last record, Treason, you re-recorded "Fuck You, Ronnie" and changed it up to be "Fuck You, Donald." And I was wondering if that. Yeah. Are you like? I guess this isn't really about the music per se, but I was curious if you're concerned about what's unfolding south of the border. If that's still a concern.
Well, I called the Democratic Party and I said, if you want a candidate that can win, they're like, I'll run for president.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That would probably be.
You can't be a Canadian citizen and be elected president. I could be governor, a senator, a congressman, mm-hmm. but you can't be president. You have to be born in the United States. It's pretty concerning. Old Joe Biden's a good man, but it's like there comes a time when everybody should retire. I mean, should put up his feet, sit on the beach, enjoy his grandkids, that kind of thing, right? So I think he's like, unfortunately, he's past it, right? So it sure look that way, right? So yeah, another 4 years of Donald Trump wouldn't be great. Somehow we survived the first 4 years of him. But who knows? I mean, the guy's a disaster maker, right? So
chaos.
He's a liar. Yeah, he's also a convicted felon. Mm-hmm. Right? So, we're actually reissuing in about a month. We put out Donald's single by D.O.A, obviously, and we're releasing it all on orange vinyl. So it's Felony Orange 2024 re-release, right?
Okay.
So.
Yeah. That's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when we started the debate there, Joe Biden, and we went like, wow, I should have pressed more of them. I only pressed 1,000. We're going to go through those in no time.
Yeah. Those
No, I'm not trying to capitalize that, but just like we thought, when he got the conviction with all those felons, I phoned my buddies who run the pressing plant. It's like, hey, can you run 1,000 of these for me? Get them done as soon as possible, right? Mm-hmm. So.
Well, that's interesting because like a sense of humor has always been kind of part of punk rock and hardcore punk and stuff. Like, where do you think that comes from? Where do you think the sense of humor comes from in that genre? Yeah,
it just kind of happened because it was like fun. I mean, and I think it really relates back to the greatest punk rock band of all time, which to me is the Ramones, right? Mm-hmm. And when we first heard the record, we were going like, Beat on the Brat, Don't Go Down the Basement, all the songs like on the first record, second record, we were going like, nobody ever wrote songs like that before, right? It was just like, kind of crazy and funny, and so everybody kind of picked up on that one, like, this is the type of music you can have fun with, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I think those guys led the way with that. So, do you think it's like kind of the combination of that Ramones vibe, and then bands could choose to put more serious lyrics or more more, I don't know really what the more idealistic lyrics, but keep that sense of humor? Yeah, I mean, I try to do both, right? I think it's good to have funny songs, and it's good to have serious songs. Mm-hmm. Just kind of like, D.O.A's goals all along, right from when we started, was like, number one, like, let's play loud, obnoxious punk rock. 2, let's change the world. 3, let's have fun while we're doing it, mm-hmm. That thing. And those are the same 3 goals that we operate by now, right? So hasn't changed. And I think you just like, it's English, you just got to take the piss out of things, right? At times, right? You can't be too serious, right? So, because it gets kind of boring if you're serious all the time. Mm-hmm. Do you think that if you're too serious too, it kind of takes you down a path where you, like some politicians or people in the public eye will slowly but surely kind of stop doing good for their community and kind of like get lost in their own ambitions? Do you think that's maybe part of it? No, absolutely. I think what happens with politicians, because most of them start, not all, but most of them start out as small town politicians or councillors and other, they'll go to the big office right away. And a lot of time, I see people that are still true to their ideals, but I know an awful lot of politicians that kind of completely forgot where they came from and what their roots are. Mm-hmm. And they, the average people that got them elected in the first place, right? So, mm-hmm. So you got to be conscious of that and stick with the people that got you there. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of what I've heard you mention, like a sense of street democracy? Is that kind of what you're talking about? Well, I mean, to me, I've been to England like many times, 25 times on tour, and in the subway too, in the tube in London, there's a sign that says one-way system. Okay. And I was on the tube, and one English punk said to me, I said, one-way system. He says, yeah, one for the rich and one for everybody else, right? So, mm-hmm. I think that's totally true. So my bent has always been like sticking up for working class men and women, right? And it's like, I think that's an important thing. That, like, you don't have to stick up for the rich. They've got lawyers, they've got money, they've got lobbyists, so they're taken care of, right? So, mm-hmm. But just the regular people aren't. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because the wealthy can afford to be represented on a one-to-one basis, but perhaps the middle class or lower class folks need to band together and be represented as a group by that one person. Yeah, I mean, just look, these days you can't afford a house, you can't, hardly afford anything at the grocery store. Do you have money to put your kids through hockey, or there's just like common things, right, that have become more and more unaffordable as the years have gone by, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's definitely. We have a lot of politicians. We have a lot of politicians make promises to change that, but I don't see a lot of change happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then some of the change that happens only seems to come around during election year. But in St. John, like, oh yeah, yeah, you know about that, right? Yeah, you got that. You that damn straight about that. Yeah. Damn straight, right? So.
that's what's coming up in New Brunswick here shortly, and like homelessness is visible in New Brunswick these days, which is new since the end of the pandemic. Like we always knew homelessness was here, but now you can literally see people, sleeping in tents in the parks and stuff, and that's new to us out here.
Yeah, it's really a big issue, like in the Vancouver area. Mm-hmm. It's like not going great, put it that way, and there's just not enough places for people to live. Right, and the people that may be homeless, like they may have problems or they may not have problems, but the one thing they don't have is a place to live, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it's like that in our country, especially our rich country, that shouldn't be.
Yeah, it does seem like we have enough wealth to take care of pretty near everyone.
Everybody. Yeah. I know. I couldn't agree more. I just think that's we're. Unfortunately, through various circumstances, not doing a great job at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the problem when things concentrate, and when wealth or even companies concentrate, it seems to lead to those problems, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, I better go pretty quick. I guess see what's happening with sound check here, right, and all that. But
yeah, no problem. I really appreciate taking the time to talk. I'm glad we could sync this up, and I'm sure the fest up there in Fredericton will be awesome.
Yeah, and thanks for pursuing that, like just staying on the case with it, right? So
no problem.
I appreciate it as well.
No problem.
Okay, thanks, Jay.
Yeah, you're welcome. See ya.
Okay, cheers. Yeah, cheers.